call from this woman, and she basically had a very bad experience with a certain company's edibles.
The type of girl you wanna chew all of my bubble gum. The type of girl you wanna chew all of my bubble gum. I'm the type of girl you wanna take to your mama house.
She said she'd had more than 400 returns of unsatisfied customers. As a journalist, it signifies to me that there's a problem here, so going up to talk to this woman with Botanicare. Yeah, we'll see what she has to say. Let's meet Robin.
To meet with Robin?
Yeah.
Okay, who are you with?
I'm with the Denver Post.
Oh, okay. Are you?
She's expecting me.
You're the cannabis?
Yeah. Hey, Ricardo.
No, that's not your real name, but she's right through there. I got to take a structural engineer up on top.
Okay, have fun with that. This is the coolest filing cabinet in the world, isn't it?
Yeah, there's just full of marijuana.
The other day you told me 400 bars approximately had been returned. Have more been returned since
Oh
the last
no,
time?
we've had 400 people complain, but some of these people bought 5, 6, 10 bars. People were irate. A lot of people personally came in. Our voicemail was filled with complaints. And we're not the only store. I called around everyone else who I could find that was selling Dr. J's products. And every one of them said, we've had so many complaints, we pulled it off the shelf. The marijuana community is very small. We're feeling betrayed by Dr. J's. He's supposed to be one of us.
I mean, your position is that they were fully aware of this.
Oh yeah, they made a conscious decision to keep putting the product out even though they were out of marijuana. There's so much process to track the marijuana that it's hard to make a mistake. I believe in the marijuana industry as a whole, not just my business, but this whole industry. And it's fragile. And the consistency and the integrity of the marijuana industry matters.
Well, I woke up this morning around 6 a.m. Got me a job, I'm a working man, I'm a working man. I'm a working man, I'm a working.
I'm hoping to connect with Tom or somebody else over there at Dr. J's. You can reach me at 303. Gonna try a couple of those customers. You purchased between 30 and 40 pouches of the Dr. J's. 95% of them were bad, but just go ahead and tell me what your experience was. What syndrome, I'm sorry? Oh, is it restless leg syndrome? Okay. Oddly, I had a similar issue with these Dr. J products. I shared some with friends, and all of us were like, I don't feel anything. I remember that I had 2 of them in my refrigerator, and I said, well, I'm gonna take these to get tested and see what happens. We bought 11 more items to be tested, 2 of which were Dr. J's. The other 9 were completely different competitors.
My heart is on the paper in your hand.
So what are we looking at? THC is right here.
Yeah, non-detect in one case.
Oh, non-detect.
And 0.17 in another case. So if you took that 0.17, you're talking about 0.3 milligrams per package of THC. And the package said 100.
Wow. I mean, not even recognizable limits of THC.
We're getting into what we call below the quantitation range of our instrument.
Is this the most off product that you've tested so far for THC?
Yeah. People are out there consuming these products based on the numbers that are printed on the package. So if I'm a consumer and I ate this entire chocolate bar and it didn't do that much, I might pick up a much higher concentration chocolate bar the next time, eat that whole thing, and have to go to the hospital. This shows the importance of testing. There could be a sort of backlash against the whole legal marijuana movement.
This is the first place this is really happening in the world, So it's a total clusterfuck in terms of them trying to figure out how labeling should work, how testing should work, And right now, all that's ever changing. Hey, Tom, this is Ricardo Baca with the Denver Post. Hoping to chat with you or somebody else at Dr. J's. Hoping to hear back from you today. Looking forward to it. All right, thanks, bye. You know, so I'm just trying to put this into context of like laws and rules. If something is tested showing that massive a discrepancy, is it against the law? So it's MED, marijuana enforcement. And I just got off the phone with them, and the manufacturer would get in trouble if they went over what it said on there, but they can't find anything in there if they went under or drastically under. We're in an era where we have state-regulated marijuana. And so if it says it's 100 milligrams of activated THC, it should be 100 milligrams of activated THC. We found that it almost never is. Dr. J's tested anywhere from 0.2 to 5 milligrams, all in items that were supposed to be 100 milligrams. Oh, this is him. Hey, Tom, how's it going? I mean, how much would it surprise you if you guys had released bars into the market that had less than a milligram of activated THC? Dr. J's is pissed. They told me that I'm ruining their business. You had said something about how maybe you guys hadn't stirred that batch properly, and I was just, are you accepting potential blame by talking about this recipe, this stirring issue? Just got off the phone with Tom at Dr. J's. He's the CEO there. And it was an interesting conversation for sure. His main point is he thinks testing is bullshit.
The Marijuana Enforcement Division has been in here 4 times, not to inspect, but for look and learns. Everything is totally up to spec via the Department of Health. I feel as though we are the poster child for compliance. I would give the media a C-. It seems as though they focus on the very small, very rare incidents. Sensationalism is what sells papers. There are good people, and there are not so good people. And I have no comment on whether Ricardo is good or not so good.
When your story gets picked to land on 1A, it's very gratifying. It's moments like that where you just know that you touched on something important.
That was, I think it was great, but I think it's only the first chapter in the testing challenges. And really what the state's worried about is people going over. Yes, it's a consumer complaint to not get anything out of what you're buying, but if you get too much, I mean, that's where the real health dangers would be, and that's why I think the state was concerned about going over, not under.
New information now about a college student who jumped to his death from a hotel balcony in Denver.
He started acting hostile and then leapt to his death from the 4th floor of this Holiday Inn.
Very sad story. We covered it when it happened, and then yesterday morning they came out with the news that he had pot in his system. But, you know, I'm glad that Ingold just said that he's following it up today. Because it's not just about testing, it's also about serving size and proper labeling. We don't know if this young man knew how strong that edible was that he was eating.
And honestly, they just want honesty, and that's my policy. But the lies of this life keep calling me. And I could put my trust in you, and you could put your trust in me, but how about it then?
Okay, thanks, honey. Actually, just the events of the last couple of weeks have changed things. This Wyoming college student who went above the recommended dose by 6 times and plunged off a balcony. I think it's cast a dark cloud over the story in the state.
The state knew it needed to get its act together to implement mandatory testing, and they did. And I'm glad that Gorski covered it. I don't know, did my story amp up the MED to move forward with mandatory testing? I think it's fair to say that it didn't hurt.